Welcome to the Mr. Menopause Show, Segments, a series of focused clips pulled from the full episodes of the Mr. Menopause Show, created for women who feel confused, dismissed, or frustrated by the changes happening in their bodies. If you're dealing with symptoms you don't understand, if you're tired of being told, it's just aging, or if you're feeling invisible in your doctor's office, this series is for you. Each segment is designed to give you clear answers, compassionate support, and practical tools that help you feel more informed, more in control, and more confident on your menopause journey. Let's get into it.
Hey there, it's Tafiq Akhir, Mr. Menopause here, and this is the Mr. Menopause Show on Bold Brave TV. And today we are talking about something that you're probably not hearing enough about, but that you absolutely should, because while everyone's focusing on hot flashes, mood swings, and night sweats, and look, yes, those do matter, but what we're not talking about, though, is the way that menopause impacts your bones and your joints. And look, let me tell you, if you don't understand this piece of the puzzle, you might be missing the reason why you're waking up in pain, feeling stiff, or struggling to move like you used to. And again, I want to welcome you to the show because now I want you to just know that I understand that talking about bone health and joint health, it might not sound sexy, and you're definitely not going to see a TikTok influencer doing dance trends about joint pain, right? But here's the deal. This isn't just about getting older. It's about what's happening inside your body that you were never told to expect. So let's take a moment to get honest. Have you noticed your knees hurt more when you go down the stairs than up? Have you stood up and needed to take a moment to get your bearings because your joints felt tight? Have you avoided a workout, not from laziness, but because your hips or your shoulders felt like they were screaming at you, or started second guessing movement altogether because it feels like your body is betraying you when you try? Now, if any of this sounds familiar, well, this episode is for you. And let me just say this. If no one has validated what you're feeling, I'm going to do that for you right now. You are not making it up. It's not just aging. It's not just wear and tear. It's your hormones and your body's desperate call for support. Now, let me tell you about Rachelle. Rachelle came to me after a seemingly minor fall in her kitchen. She slipped, reached out to break her fall, and snapped her wrist. Now, here's what's wild. Rachelle was active. She was careful and wasn't dealing with what anyone would consider to be high-risk lifestyle activities. So why did her wrist break so easily? You guessed it, bone loss due to menopause. And here's what made her furious. No one even told her this could happen. Not a doctor, not a nurse, not a trainer. And look, she's not alone. She had been to physical therapy. She'd been doing stretching with stretch coaches, and she'd been given pain medication, but no one connected the dots between her hormonal shifts and the weakening in her bone matrix. And this isn't a rare case. This is happening every day. See, a lot of women assume that joint pain or injuries are just part of aging, but aging is not the villain here. Unaddressed hormonal changes are. And the longer we delay talking about this, the more damage is done in silence. Bone fractures aren't just injuries, they are re-wake-up calls. And for many women, they're the first clue that something deeper is going on hormonally. But by that point, you're playing catch up. And we should not be waiting until women are hurt in order to talk about prevention. Now, here's the truth. Estrogen plays a critical role in maintaining bone density. It helps to regulate the process of breaking down and rebuilding bone tissue. When your estrogen levels drop, this happens during perimenopause, but it crashes during menopause, and your body starts breaking down more bone than it builds. That puts you at risk for other conditions like osteopenia and osteoporosis. Now, studies show that up to 20% of a woman's bone mass can be lost during the first 5 to 7 years of menopause. Now, that's not just gradual aging, that is a hormonal landslide. And let's take it a step further, because your bones aren't just the scaffolding holding you upright. They are living tissue. They're metabolically active. And when they're not nourished or supported or even challenged through movement and strength training, well, they weaken quietly, consistently, until one day they fail. And bone isn't something that you feel getting weaker. It doesn't send out a plain flare or a pop-up on a blood test. Most women don't realize anything is changing until they fall. And then they're told, oh, you have osteoporosis. Well, that's not support, that's neglect. And that's why this conversation matters. This kind of loss doesn't usually come with flashing warning lights, like I said. It's silent. No symptoms until a fracture a bone or doing something that you've done 100 times before, right? And by then, you're already in recovery mode. And that's why this conversation is so important, like I said, because bone loss and joint degradation are preventable. They are manageable, but only if you know that they're happening. But bones aren't the only issue here. Let's talk about your joints. Estrogen also affects the production of collagen, which is a major component of joint cartilage. It keeps your joints cushioned, flexible, and well lubricated. And when estrogen drops, inflammation increases. Collagen production slows down, and the cushioning between your joints and your bones, well, they start to wear down. What does that mean for you, though? It means that the pain in your hands, the stiffness in your knees, and the aching in your hips are not just wear and tear. They're the result of hormonal disruption. Have you ever gone to open a jar and felt like your hands just couldn't grip like they used to, or woken up with stiff fingers that loosen up later in the day? That's not sleeping funny. That's a hormonal story that your joints are trying to tell you. And if you've been told it's just arthritis or fibromyalgia or normal for your age without a hormone panel, without a discussion about estrogen's role, without a treatment plan that includes a lifestyle and strength interventions, well, you've been dismissed, period. I once worked with a woman in her late 40s who was given anxiety meds when she reported joint pain and fatigue. Not once did they check her hormone levels, but after 6 months of working together with me, through education, strength training, and anti-inflammatory support, she not only felt better, she got off the meds that she never should have been on in the first place. And this is what education can do. This is what awareness can prevent. So let's connect the dots even further, because when your joints hurt, you move less. When you move less, you lose muscle. When you lose muscle, your bones suffer more. And let's not forget, muscle isn't just for strength. It's also for balance, for coordination, for injury prevention. And the number one cause of injury for older women? Falls. The number one reason for the falls? Poor balance, weak muscles, and unstable joints. It's a vicious cycle that affects your independence, your energy, your strength, and your confidence. And this spiral doesn't just show up in the gym. It shows up when you can't play with your grandkids on the floor, when you hesitate before going on a hike with your friends, and when you need help carrying groceries or opening jars. And this is what I mean when I say bone and joint health is menopause health. But here's another kicker. Most women, again, are not being warned. I've seen so many women who've been prescribed antidepressants, anxiety meds, painkillers, but not a single conversation about their bones, their joints, or their estrogen levels. That is a failure of the system. And it's why I do this show, because you deserve better. And if your body is changing, it's not a moral failure, right? It's not about willpower either. It's a biology. And biology can be supported. We just need to know what to ask for and what you should be looking for. So let me ask you this. Have you ever been offered a DEXA scan to check your bone density? Has a doctor talked to you about collagen, resistance training, or inflammation? Has anyone connected your joint pain to your hormones? And if not, let me first say you're not broken. What you are is underserved. And honestly, it pisses me off because it's avoidable and it's predictable. And it's exactly what we should be talking about during every perimenopause and menopause conversation. You don't have to just accept that your body is falling apart, because it's not. It's adapting. And when you give it the right support, well, it's damn near unstoppable, right? So what do? You get informed. You take action, and you stop letting silence make the decisions for you, because joint pain, not inevitable. Bone loss, not untreatable. You have more power than you think. You just need a clear path. And that's what we're going to explore more in this episode. And coming up, I'm going to walk you through exactly what's happening biologically during menopause that leads to these changes. I'll show you what labs and scans to ask for, what symptoms to track, and how to have real conversations with your doctor that don't get brushed off. And then we'll talk about what works, the right kind of exercise, the real story on calcium and vitamin D, and powerful strategies to reduce inflammation and protect your mobility. But before we go there, I want to hear from you. If you're tuning in live or on the replay, drop a comment if you've ever had to deal with joint pain that you didn't expect, or fractures or falls that may have surprised you, or if no one warned you that this could be part of menopause in the first place, because you're not alone and you shouldn't have to figure this out in the dark.
If this segment helped you feel seen, heard, or just a little more clear, you're exactly where you need to be. This is just one piece of the full conversation. Watch or listen to the full episode of the Mr. Menopause Show on Bold Brave TV at mrmenopauseshow.com, or right here on Mr. Menopause TV for deeper insights, real stories, and the kind of menopause education most women are never given. If you're confused, frustrated, or even afraid of menopause and not sure where to begin, take the free menopause readiness quiz at menopausereadinessquiz.com, or click the link in the description for this video to find out what level of awareness you're in and what kind of support might actually help you feel like yourself again. More segments are coming soon, so stay connected. And remember, Mr. Menopause is here to walk alongside you every step of the way.